Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I have another fabulous project for you today. This one was actually inspired by last week's project because as I was playing around with making those peekaboo boxes, I found I don't know if I found a better way, but I found a way to make a box that is a little easier. And this one is so wonderful for displaying Ferrero Rocher truffles. And I think it will make a really nice hostess gift or just a little gift to have around, maybe to give your coworkers or friends. And it's just in traditional red and green Christmas colors, and I think you're going to really love it. Actually, if you want to make it into a happy holidays box, if you want to be more generic, it also has a greeting for that. So I like having that option with the bundle that we're using today. So anyway, I'm going to just show you real quick. This is the box, and I'm not going to open it right here because the candy will, I don't know if it will shift, but I'll show it to you when it's flat. But it's just a wonderful box. It feels really solid in the hand too when you give it, and it just looks very beautiful. So I'm going to switch over to my other camera and we'll get started on making this. And if you have any questions along the way, please ask. And if you're watching this as a replay later on, please ask in the comments and I'd be happy to get to you. Now, I will have a project sheet for this project, so you need to be on my email list for that. So just go down below in the description of this video and there's a place to sign up for that. And on Saturdays, I send out a project sheet for my Friday tutorials, and this one will include a diagram so you can see where to cut and score everything. And I've been told that they're very handy. In fact, I even go back to them sometimes when I'm trying to reference something I've done in the past. I don't have all those measurements in my head. I need to go back and refer to my project sheets, so I know they really are handy. All right, I'm going to switch over to my other camera. Okay, and these are the little Ferrero Rocher truffles. I'm sure you're all familiar with them. You can get them almost anywhere. And this little box holds 5 Ferrero Rochers. So the lid is built right in to the box. And so it's got this little tab that tucks in, very much like the peekaboo boxes. The only difference is that in here, we've got this little insert piece that kind of covers up the Ferrero Rocher and gives them a cute little window. There's a little bit of a window sheet back here. And then you just tuck this in. And in doing so, you also create a little place up front here for this piece to tuck into. And so on the front, you have Merry Christmas. And on the inside, you have Happy New Year. It's very traditional reds and greens. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'm using the Handmade Wishes bundle to create it. It's nice. We can use it to create both the window and we can use it to create the label. There is no die cutting in this project, which is kind of unusual. Now we tend to use dies for different things, but this one is totally done with a punch bundle. So that is kind of cool. And then if you look at the stamp set that matches, you will want to get the stamp set because look, there's this beautiful frame you can stamp and then you can punch it out. And so you can see there's like that little, it's just the little extra detail. And then if you maybe don't celebrate Christmas or maybe you have friends that don't, you can always change it to Happy Holidays on the front instead of Merry Christmas. And I'm sure Happy New Year is pretty neutral. Maybe different religions or countries celebrate New Year's on different days, but you could always have, you could put peace, love, joy. This if you wanted to, if you protected the inside, you could also put something like something that you baked in there, and then you could do baked for you. So there's a lot of options with this stamp set and punch bundle. And if you purchase these two together as a set or as a bundle, you can save 10%. I'm also using the paper. I've cut up a lot of the Boughs of Holly designer series paper, and almost any pattern is going to look nice on the front. We've got some really nice big bold poinsettias, but even this kind of neutral green background works really well. I'm also using a gold foil sheet, and that just gives it a really festive pop, and that is like just a square behind here. And as you move the box, you can see it's really elegant, and it goes back to the gold of the Ferrero Rocher, so it really matches nicely. And you're going to need some window sheet for this window, because while you could leave this open here, it's going to look a lot more elegant if that's actually a little window there. Okay, also I use some red rhinestone jewels on there. Okay, so let's get started in making the box. We're going to make a garden green box today. And I like to use my scoring board. You can do scoring on your paper trimmer if you wish. It will just take you a little bit longer, but you can absolutely do that if you wish. So let me tell you how big this piece of cardstock is. It is 9 3/4 by 5 7/8. So I'll put one of the short sides up at the top, and I'm going to score at the 1 3/8 inch mark and the 4 1/2 inch mark. Then turn to one of the long sides, and we'll score at 1 3/8, 4 1/2, 5 7/8, and 9 inch mark. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And just so you notice, there is a skinny end piece right here, and then there's a wider one at this end. So just take note of that, because we're going to cut into this end rather than this end. And in the diagram, I'll make sure that's noted so you can see that. We'll need the scoring board one more time, but let's go ahead and prep this piece so we kind of do things in order. So I like to use my paper trimmer to cut on my piece. You can also use scissors, because you are going to have the score lines as guides, but to get a nice straight line, I like to use my paper trimmer. And this trimmer is such a good price, and it works really, really well. So the nice thing is you can lift this arm up, and what I'm going to do is, remember that short side? So we've got that little score mark over the smaller segment versus this larger end segment. Put that smaller end segment up at the top, and then line up the score line right here with that groove. You can see where the groove is right here on the paper trimmer. Oops. Just line it up. And then you're going to move your trimmer so that you're going to cut along this line. You're going to cut this square and the little segment. So you're going to go 2 score lines in, line this up, and then cut along it. So I'll just show you. So it cut the skinny segment plus this larger segment. Then I'm going to shift this over to the other score line, and I'm going to cut that same distance, so that square plus the skinny segment. So let me just lift this up so you can see. Okay, so we got that skinny and the larger one. Okay, Then we're going to turn this so one of the long sides faces up, and I'm going to do this cut side. We're going to line it up. You can see the cut mark goes right to there, and I'm going to line up my score line again right along that score groove. And now we're going to cut along here and just cut off just that to the first score line and out. So right here and right here, if you lift, these are shorter segments, so you could also snip them with scissors if you wish. And then I'm going to keep going on that same long side, go to the next score line and line it up. And I'm just going to go from that first score intersection to the end, lift this up, bring the arm down, and do this. So you can see I've just cut into those two. And then we'll scoot this along one more time to that last score line. And we're going to cut, lift. I'm lifting this, not cutting through, and cut. Again, you can do this with scissors if you prefer, if that's too confusing for you. I'm going to have this on a diagram so you can see where you need to cut. Okay, so now we do want to bring some scissors in, and on this end right here, we're going to just taper this because this is going to be a tucking tab. So just kind of cut off a little wedge. It looks like this. It's just very teeny tiny, but that's just going to allow for better tucking. And I like to cut on this side, so I'm going to flip this and do the same for the other side. So I've just got like a very slight taper on both sides. Also, so these tabs don't show when you close the box, come over to what was one of the long sides, and I'm going to taper right along here. Okay, then I'm going to flip over and taper on the other side. And then I'm going to go to the end right here, so the opposite end. And actually I want to taper on this side. And then flip it around and taper on the other side. So let's have a look. So I tapered on this end, and then I tapered here, 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 and here. So on the outsides right there, okay? And then we're gonna fold this along the score lines. So I'm gonna kind of just grab all three of these and just kind of fold them over like that. Use my bone folder to smooth it out. Then we're gonna do the same for the other three. All right, and now we just need to go all along here. So we'll start down here at the bottom, come up here, and then we'll bring these two in. Okay, let's get rid of all of this stuff here. So it's out of the way. So I just want to show you, this is going to be the bottom of the box. These tabs will have glue on them, and then we're going to bring that together to form this little box, and then this will be the lid. Okay, so I know everything's kind of folded in this way, so I'm going to put the glue on the back side here, and we'll bring in the glue, and I'm going to put glue in on all of these at one time, but if you think you're gonna get glue all over your fingers, just do one at a time. I like to live dangerously. Okay, so now I'm gonna start by bringing this side in, and as I bring it in, just take a moment, and you want to make sure your score line lines up really nicely with the edge of the cardstock. And if you use your paper trimmer, you're going to have pretty nice straight lines. And just press on that for a few seconds. And then I'll come over to my other side and do the same. Just take a few seconds. Just make sure you have a really nice joint. And then just press. And then you're going to bring in these last two sides and bring them in and press. Yesterday, as I was creating these, I realized I don't have very many Ferrero Rocher in the house. So I had enough for 1.5 boxes. So I'm going to have to steal some out of one of the boxes to show you how to put them in there. Okay, so we've got our little box. That was pretty easy, right? It's a pretty easy box. And then we're going to take some Ferrero Rocher. I'm going to steal some out of this box here because, yes, we're going to revamp them. Sorry, little box, you're gonna go back empty. All right, so we're just going to start tucking in the boxes. I would look to see which Ferrero Rocher has the most nicely centered label. Stick that one aside and use that one for the center. And I'll just kind of tuck these in. We want one for the center. And then we're going to tuck these other ones in here on the side. Okay. So you get 5 Ferrero Rocher inside of here. When I originally tried to design this box, I started off with 4 Ferrero Rocher. But then when the window came about, there was like an empty space right in the center. So then I said, why don't I redesign it so I can fit 5 so that there's one right in the center so it looks really pretty. Okay, so we're going to make the insert now. Okay, so I'm going to come back to my paper trimmer because I really do like to work with that. So this piece is, here I go with the 16th measurements again, but it's not a hard one. This one's 4 15/16 by 3 15/16. 15/16 is just 1/16 less than the whole mark. So for this side, it's 5 inches minus 1/16. So it's just in between the 4 7/8 and 5/8 inch mark. And for 3 15/16, that's like 4 inches minus 1/16. So that is between the 3 7/8 inch mark and the 4 inch mark. So it's not hard, and I will have that in my project sheet as well. So 4 15/16 by 3 15/16. Put one of the long sides up at the top, and we're going to score at the 7/8 inch mark. Turn it a quarter turn and do a 7/8 inch mark again, and then turn it another quarter turn and another 7/8 inch mark. So you want one of these long sides. This is what it's going to look like. We have to punch in from this side. So we want one of this long sides to be not have a score mark on it. So that's what it looks like. So for this one, we're going to take the handmade tag punch, open it up, and you want to find the side that doesn't have the score line in it so that it reaches to the center. So you're just going to push that in as far as it will go, and then center it in between the score lines. It's going to be hard to show, but I can show it on this side. You can just see a hint of the score line here. Just make sure it's centered between this one and this one on that side that's in a shadow, and all the way in, and then give it a punch. And so you'll see it kind of looks like that. Pretty easy peasy, the fact that this one goes all the way in. And then we're going to get rid of these two corners, but I want to taper them a little bit so they're easier to tuck. So I'm just going to come in on a bit of an angle, and again on a bit of an angle, just about the same angle as you did for the tabs before. So you can just see it's a little bit more than the square. And we'll do that and that. And then on this other side of this tab, because this will be tucked, you can also taper this one just a bit. Okay. So now we're going to fold this along the score lines. All right, I'm just going to double check that this fits. Yesterday I was working with so many dimensions, and yes, okay. Phew! I'm like, I've kept redesigning this top part with different dimensions. I'll tell you, after a while you can mess with your head a bit. All right, so I'm now on the back side of here, and I want to put on a window sheet. So I'm just going to draw with my glue around here. And I've started using Tombow to attach window sheets now because it's actually so much easier than tear and tape. I'm just going to wait for this to dry just a little bit so it's not so super wet. It will eventually dry even if you put the window sheet on top of it right now. But the nice thing about waiting for it to dry a bit is that you won't get that oozing. See, I went a little close right there to the edge, and sometimes that will push into the window, and so if you just let it dry a bit, you're not going to get that oozing, but it will still be sticky enough to hold the window sheet. So I'm just going to put that aside for a moment, and we're going to work on the top of our box to do the decoration. So I've got a piece of basic white cardstock here, and I've got this lovely frame, and we're going to use Garden Green and Real Red today for our ink colors. Very, very traditional Christmas colors. And I'm just going to ink that up, not smushing too hard because those are thin little lines. And I'm just going to stamp them. I need two, one for the outside and one for the inside, right here. And I'm not going to put this too far because I'm going to need it again. I will put some of my tools away. Okay, so then we're going to take Real Red ink. Move my punch out of the way for a second. And one of them is going to be Merry Christmas. So I'm going to grab this one. And this one is going to come across here. That one of these is going to point north. So I just want it kind of centered in that middle section right there. Okay. And then I'm going to do Mary. And I'm just going to bring that just a little bit above the Christmas like that. And then there's these holly leaves. So what I did, this stamp was completely clean, and I just laid them out here and I picked them up. I'm going to show you how I did this. Okay, so these are, I just cleaned off my stamps off camera. So you can see how these are kind of just worked out perfectly. So I'm just going to lay this down where I think they would look nice stamped. Okay, and then I'll take my block, this is a B block, and I'll just pick them up. Okay, and now when I go to stamp, I can do them both at the same time. I don't have to put them on two different blocks. They're just ready to go. And since I already kind of measured the distance, they're just going to work perfectly like that. And then I'll take the little berries and just pop them in the space right there. So that's what it looks like. Okay, so now we're going to do the other one. We're going to do Happy New Year. So, oh no, I stuck my red stamp in the green. I think it will be okay. If you ever do this, and this is not going to be so pronounced, I had used this in red. This is the Peril. So if you feel like the red may have contaminated, I don't think it did because red's a lighter color and it was already stamped off once. I just take, if it's a lighter color pad, I just take a tissue and absorb some of the foreign ink that you don't want on there, and I just use a tissue, or paper towel is even better because it has less lint, and I just take it and just clean off some of the ink because I don't like to muddy my ink pads. So let me get the right color over here. The peril of having two colors open at the same time. So I cleaned off my stamp again, so now it is ready to go in my real red ink. So I'm not contaminating my red with green. And then I'll come across here doing the same thing, kind of going across the center and just stamping that down. I like how Merry and Happy are already curved, so they just kind of nest really nicely above there. And then we'll come in with the green, and again it fits really nicely in both spots. Come over here with red, turn it, voila. Okay, so that is all there is to stamping those little tags. And then we're going to come in, and if I was doing a bunch of these, I would just kind of do them all at once. I think with this one, I'm going to have to cut off the corner. I didn't stamp quite close enough to the corner, so let me just cut this because this is on a diagonal. So now I'm just going to center this in my punch, and I'm just squeezing down just part way until I've got it centered. And once it looks good, I'll punch all the way through. And then I'll come over to this other side. Let's hope this one, I did a better job of getting closer to the edge. Yes, I did. Okay, so then punch through. Okay, and we're also going to add a little layer behind there. And you can do that just by punching a couple more shapes. And I'm going to just punch it out of real red cardstock. You're going to have a little bit left over when you cut that big piece, so that you can use that edge for those extra punched pieces. All right. So I'm going to layer these on here. So the best way to do this is to just do it, put glue in this square area here. Don't go out to all the points because these points are going to stick out. So I'm just going to layer this on here. Like that. And then I'm going to take this other one. Again, just do this inner square, not the 4 outer points, because you don't want to have glue overhanging. And then we'll just come in and just center that on there. All right. Okay, for the Merry Christmas one is going to be on the outside. So while I'm here, I'm going to grab, these are really nice for the holidays. These are called Real Red Rhinestones. They've been in the catalog for a while. There's a good reason, because they make excellent little holiday holly berries. They make excellent Rudolph noses, just nice little red sparkle. So I'm just going to cover the holly berries on the Merry Christmas. And you're probably thinking, why did I even stamp them? Well, I had to stamp them for this one. I'm not going to put one on the inside one so it doesn't get bulky on the lid on the inside. But it's now I know exactly where to place them, so that makes it really easy. And if for some reason one of them comes off, then you have red underneath, just perfectly still there. Okay, so we're going to come back to my little box, and this looks like it's pretty dry now. And we're going to take a window sheet. This window sheet measures 3 inches by 3 inches. And I'm just going to lay this inside the score marks. Okay, you don't want them on the score mark, you want it just inside. And then just give it a little press down with your fingers. Okay, and this is also going to help this piece to create it and make it be really, really stable. So that's another good thing. So we're going to just tuck this in to the box. And it just tucks in a little bit. It might get down just a tiny bit below the level of the top of the box. And it's designed to do that. So it's designed to kind of hold everything in. You can kind of see the little Ferrero Rocher there. So we're going to put the Happy New Year right here. The easiest way to center this is to put this face down. Make sure it's going the right direction. So face down. Put in like that. And then I'm going to just put glue on this red part. And now I'm going to close the box. Press down. And I'm going to lift it up. Ta-da! It's centered. Yay! Okay, so that was just my little trick. Okay, so now I'm going to close this box one more time. And I'm going to bring in some gold foil sheet. This is a 3x3 square. And this paper from that paper that I have forgotten the name of, because I can never remember the names of all these things. Boughs of Holly paper. This is a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch square. And we're just going to glue these two together. I may have done better if I had used green on the outside there, but let's see how that red looks. It will be okay. Yeah, it just kind of depends how you want. The inside definitely needed the red pop, but this one we could have put garden green behind here to make it pop a little more. So I'll just show you. See, this one has garden green and this one has real red. So, you know, use whatever you're going to have. If you're going to do these boxes, you're going to probably need both colors. So, oh, and you know, one thing we forgot to do, and I can do that in a second. We forgot to tie ribbon around here. So I'm just going to use 4 dimensionals to pop on here. And I don't think, oh, I haven't glued this on here yet. So let's do that. We'll glue this centered on the top of the box. And just see a little bit of green peeking around the gold, and the gold is so nice because it matches the Ferrero Rocher. And then we'll take this and we'll center it. Okay, it looks okay with the red, but I think the green makes it pop a little bit more. And then to make it look a little better, I just want to show you the difference right now. See, this has a little ribbon around it. So it looks a little plain if you just leave it like that. So grab some ribbon, and I recommend this real red and garden green ribbon. You get 2 rolls. It's a combo pack. It's 3/8 of an inch wide, and it's available right now from the holiday catalog. And you could do, like, if you wanted to dress it up, you could do the red on the green. So let's try that. Or if you just want to match, you can just do garden green on garden green. So it's whatever you want. Whatever. And I'm just going to bring this around the box and find my scissors. Okay, my scissors are way under here. Okay, all right, let's bring these in. So just take that and snip that off. So I'm going to make sure that it's all smooth all the way around, and then I'm going to tie my first knot. And then I'll take my locking tweezers. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this other box as a little ledge for my ribbon, like that. And then I can cinch this, I can play with it, make sure it's good. And then I'll come through and I'll tie my ribbon. I can straighten it afterwards. And then let go of that. Give it a little bit more of a tug. And now I'm gonna just move it to the center. And then we'll just trim off the edges into little angles. And there we go. So you can make it a contrasting ribbon, or you can be a little bit more neutral and go and do it just in the same color. It just depends on how you feel. You know, sometimes you want to be, this one really is the red and the green is just so traditional Christmas, which is kind of fun. I do like traditional Christmas colors. It's fun to play with different colors, but red and green is just, you know, still the tried and true Christmas colors. And, you know, with this one, if you were changing it to Happy Holidays, you could do it with whatever paper color combination you want. The nice thing is you can customize. You can choose your color of cardstock, choose some different paper, and it just will all look good. Now, which one has this one has my Ferrero Rocher in it. So you just open this up, and to get in here, you can just, you kind of pull up from the back right here. Guess what? People will figure out how to get at the chocolate. You could also do this and it will tip over into your hand. But you need this little piece right here to tuck in. So without this, I'm just gonna push this. Without this, your thing will tuck in a little bit too far. So you need something in the box. You know, it will probably work, you know, if you don't want the little window. It still is a nice box. But then I would maybe almost make this, I would probably shift the edge and make it a little bit longer so it was the same depth as here, so it would kind of so it wouldn't push all the way in. That's what I probably would do. But for this, it was nicer that it just didn't have to tuck in all the way. And it's kind of nice to see like a little peekaboo of what you're putting in there. So there are the boxes, and I don't think that's too hard to make. I love that there's no die cutting on this one. It's a rarity nowadays that you can get away with that. This is fairly easy to stamp and then punch out, and it just makes some really gorgeous boxes. You should see them in person with the real red rhinestones and the gold paper. It's just very nice. All right, I'm coming back over to you guys. So if you need the Handmade Wishes bundle, do you need a scoring board? Do you need a trimmer to make this project? Well, I have a supply list. And if you order from me using this host code right here, and you spend at least $50, you're going to get a gift from me sent to you in November. And this month's gift is the red and green adhesive back pearls. And I know right now these are so popular, they are not available for purchase right now, but I jumped ahead and I got some. So I do have a little stockpile waiting for everyone to, I probably helped them go on to back order, but I couldn't do it alone. There were lots of other people that had to help me, but I have a stockpile of these. So even though they're not technically available right now for purchase, that will be your gift next month. And you will get a full pack because I have already used some of these on some projects. So do not fear, you're going to get a full pack of these if you order from me. And if you order any size order over $15, we'll also get a tutorial from me that you can choose from. I have a lot of different Hershey's Kisses tutorials and other tutorials that you can choose from that are paid tutorials but are free with an order. Let me see what else is going on. The starter kit special. If you're gonna make this and you have at least $99 worth of product in your cart, you may as well get the starter kit because the starter kit is only $99, and this month you're going to get $155 worth of product to put in your starter kit. So you could get the trimmer and the scoring board and the punch bundle and cardstock and the ink pads, and that would be your project, and you could get that for $99. So that would be like a really good deal. Sorry, my phone is going off silently in the background and it's very distracting. So anyway, I turned that off. If you like my YouTube channel, please hit the subscribe button or give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. That will help other people find me. And even if you are already a demonstrator, that is one way that you can help me out, even if you are not purchasing from me. All right, I'm going to go and have a look at the comments and say hello to all of you. And I know sometimes everyone lets me know where they're from, and that's kind of fun to see where in the world everyone is. Good morning, Ellie from Connecticut. And I know it's weird to say that you're from Connecticut because you were from New York for such a long time. It's chilly there. It's chilly here too. Good morning, Verblue from Chile, Tennessee. Wow, you guys have cold too? Good morning, Birgit from Germany. Good morning, Marty from Pittsburgh. I think it is going to be a beautiful weekend, Marty. Good morning, Nalita. Good morning, Roberta. And she says she loves this cute box. Thank you. Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Trish from Chile, Maine. Trish, you are just north. Well, I don't know if you're just north of me, but I live in the Boston area, so you are just can drive north to Maine to get to you, which is not too far. Hello, Diane, and she's also from Maine. Wow, we've got 2 people from Maine on here this morning. Welcome, welcome. Good morning, Patty. She says, pretty box, and she loves the stamp set. It is a good stamp set. Ellie says she loves those paper layers, and thanks for all the hints. Well, you're welcome, Ellie. Good morning, Olga from Brooklyn, New York. Oh, that's awesome. Diane says she says, beautiful, just love it. Donna says, good morning, and she loves the box. Thank you. Dee says, very pretty treat box. I really like the stamp set for the holidays too. It is a very good bundle for the holidays. I've used it in the past too with that little gingerbread man. We've got a tree, we've got a heart, we've got these ones that kind of look like snowflakes. There's a lot of good images in there. You know, the one I haven't used yet is this one. I haven't figured out how to use that one. There's probably a good way to use it, but I've used a lot of the stamps in this stamp set, so that's always a good sign. And I think I've used it on, I want to say I've used it on, this will probably be at least my 3rd 3D project, so that's a good sign that it's a good bundle as well. Birgit says, beautiful boxes. Aw, thank you. Trish says, very, very nice. Vera Blue says, these boxes are so lovely. Marty said, could you put a little half moon cut at the top of the window piece, or is the punched area too close to the edge? So do you mean like a little thumb grip? Yeah, I mean, you could absolutely. What I would do, let me. So you probably mean like right here, like to put a little thumb grip in here. I don't know if it would punch through window sheet. I'm just going to try it. Okay, what I would do, that was a little tough to go through the window sheet. So what I would do is, if you wanted to do a little thumb grip like I did right here. Wait a minute. Let me just switch my cameras real quick. Okay. So what Marty's talking about is like having this little thumb grip right here, which will be a little easier to grab once there's Ferrero Rocher in there. So a couple things I would do, if I was doing that, I would make my window sheet a little narrower. I would go in, so instead of doing 3 by 3, I would probably do 3 by 2 3/4. So, and then I would make sure it's all the way to this end, and then I would just go ahead and punch that little lip out of cardstock, and it will be there, and then you'll be able to grab that. That would be really the only place you could put it, because these other places have sides. And what I did, just so you know, I did punch through the window sheet, but it was really tough for the punch to do that, so I don't want you to do that with your punch. So I just moved this in, and I just use this little edge right here to create that little thumb grip. You don't want to go in too far, because otherwise you're going to be, these two are going to be too close together. But you could do that and see if you like that for adding a little piece to grab onto there. But you know what? People are going to figure out pretty fast how to get into the chocolate. So I'm not too concerned, because this isn't glued in there in any way. So all they're just going to need to do is just kind of push down, and they're going to be able to get in there. But good thought, Marty. I like where you're thinking. I've got some smart people on here making my projects even better. All right. Diane said, I'm so creative. Well, thank you. With Ink Fingers is on here this morning, and she says, good morning from Utah. Trish said, that's 5 hours from me. Oh, so you must be pretty far north into Maine. My son just went to Bar Harbor with his girlfriend about a week and a half ago. And so I think they said they drove 5.5 hours. So maybe he was close to you. I don't know, because Maine is it's kind of, I guess, a long, skinny state. But yeah, they really enjoyed it. They had some beautiful leaf peeping weather. With Ink Fingers says she's going to watch the replay. I hope you do. I'm sure you're going to love the box. And Marty was just commenting on the thumb grip. Great. Dee says, the swirly stamp in the upper corner you pointed out may be a good St. Patrick's stamp, kind of like an Irish claddagh. I am probably slaughtering that word. Claddagh? I don't know. But yeah, it is a very scrolly, sort of pretty decorative stamp. So we definitely could do something with it. I just don't know what I would do with it yet. But you could put it in the background like a nice little shadow on the stamp as well. I just haven't played with it yet. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Tomorrow, the project sheet will come out, so watch for that in your inbox. I wish you a great weekend. I'll be back here same time next week, Friday at 10 a.m. for a 3D or fanciful tutorial. On Tuesdays, I go live on my Facebook business page, also at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for that one, and that is when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.